Hello, and welcome to PADNET Presents, a show featuring the creative individuals that come through the doors of our Community Media Center in Long Beach. The people in this segment, both in front and behind the camera, take our media classes, borrow our equipment, film in our studio, and use our edit suites to produce content for the community. The segment that you're about to watch is a collaboration of ideas. PADNET members met with each other to brainstorm for this show. This group in particular will discuss topics which they are most passionate about, focusing on topics of the entertainment business, including a discussion on their favorite actors, who they think are legendary comedians, and what it means to be an action movie hero. To end, the group delves into the topic of sustainability, as well as discussing the projects they are working on using PADNET resources. This taping was the first time a lot of these people used our studio equipment, while others had to shake off the rust. What was great was that they were very eager to learn and eager to help. You may see or hear some production issues, but all things considered, we're very happy with the results. Now, let me present to you the segment. Please enjoy.
Welcome to PADNET Presents. I'm Christine Shim, this is Edgar Alexander, and this is Richard Washington. We are all actors, and today I have a couple of questions that we're going to ask, and we're going to give you some answers. I hope you enjoy. So our first question is, who is your favorite actor or actress? Why? And how did they influence you in your craft?
Okay, I'll start. Keenan Ivory Wayans, he's one of my favorite actors. And when he did the first film, I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, and he was very creative with comedy. He was very creative with his material, and especially the jokes. And I was influenced by his craft, and I was influenced by work. So that's how I was inspired by Keenan. And, and it kind of made me want to do his images and his style. So as an actor, writer, comedian, I have my own brand. So you want to come up with new and original ideas that have never been done before. And the most important thing, you got to think outside the box.
Absolutely. And what about you, Richard?
Well, there's so many actors that have been influential in my life. It's hard to name just one and say it was my favorite. I could say at different times I've liked different actors for different social reasons or personal reasons, out of emotion, even if it was immature. But I learned that actors are human beings, and we are all being taught life through each other, on the screen, off the screen. So I'd like to say just a positive actor, someone that is someone that chooses film that they know will impact or give a message that will help someone to understand, the realities of life and operate in life and make good choices. So that's a good actor, that's a good film, and when I watch film, I look for that. I look to see if an actor sold me on what the story or their character or caricature in the film.
Okay. I myself, there are so many actors and actresses that are so great in their craft. I really like Jim Carrey. I have listened to a lot of his motivational speeches and his talks about how you can empower yourself. He said that his dad actually became an accountant and lost his job when his dad was like a comedian. And he says, so don't be afraid of doing what you don't love, because you can fail at something you don't love. His dad actually got fired from accounting, so he took a safe job and then he got fired from it. So might as well do what you love doing and really succeed in it, because you can fail at something you don't.
That's true. Let me just say something. When Keenan Ivory Wayans picked Jim Carrey to be on Living Color, that was the breakthrough that set the bar, and it made him a star after he left.
Yeah, good.
I like Keenan too. I think in his Living Color and a couple in his movies like The Last Boy Scout, he reminds me of my cousin. So when I look at him, I think about the times when we were young and we laughed or we joked, and I get that kind of sense from him. I saw him on a show. I saw him with his brother Damon, and he's like to me, he's like Warner Brothers. He could be, that's how he was when I was a kid. He definitely was a business role model, someone, or he hit marks that made me think that, I could achieve some of the goals that I wanted in that industry, So I really like Keenan.
Great. Since we're on topic of Keenan and we talked about Jim Carrey, in your opinion, who are the legendary comedians?
I don't know. I go far back as like Red Fox or Richard Pryor, George Carlin, Robin Williams,
Oh, yes.
Whoopi Goldberg, so many different, like older comedians. They had different, like, I guess they call it like satire in their deal, or like different, like comedians now, or at one time were really like aggressive, like Gremlins or something. They would scare you with their comedy or embarrass you. Well, where you had comedians that were more intellectual, like Bill Cosby, who could give you a family show, and I had the hardest laughs in my life watching Bill Cosby, where, it was more of the rigid with other comedians.
And how about you?
Okay, Eddie Murphy.
Yes.
Oh, Eddie Murphy is
Yeah.
funny.
Yes.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
Eddie is one of the greatest. I forgot,
Okay.
but there's so many. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and Eddie, when he did Delirious, it was hilarious. I just really loved Eddie Murphy because it's thinking about the time when we was going through life situations, and when he talked about the McDonald's, that was so hilarious. And the thing he said to that sketch made a lot of sense. And then, when he said the things about when we're having hamburgers at home, you got the bread, and then you got the splattered meat in the grill, all that stuff. So him, also Richard Pryor, he is very funny. He was brutally honest what he said on that stage. And also my other favorite is Bernie Mac.
Yes, Bernie Mac.
He's very real, because if you're on the stage, if you want to be a comedian, you got to be brutally honest with your material, and you cannot copy any other comics. The most important thing of that, you're gonna have to have your own brand. You're gonna have to have your own style. You have to be 100% creative if you want to get on that stage, because you gotta have originality, you gotta have a personality, and you got to have your own style. You cannot copy any other comic. And the most important thing is about you being on the stage, you have to be yourself.
I love it when those comedians give comedic timing. They give anecdotes and they have stories, and then it's just relatable in such a way that it just makes you laugh, because you're like, I've been there. I know what you mean.
Yes.
And I know what you're saying. And it just resonates. I think that's what makes a great comedian. And to become a legendary comedian, you have to have all those things and make the audience feel what you're feeling.
Yeah, I believe that. The fact is, when you have a comedy material, when people see or watch your show on TV or whatever, you gotta give something that, hey, you know what? I can relate to this, or I can relate to that.
Absolutely. So my next question, we're gonna pivot away from comedy a little bit. And my question is, what is your view of an action hero? And what qualities do they have that makes them great?
I would say what I liked about action heroes was accountability with their friends, like the super friends. If one didn't have something, the other one had it, and then they completed their missions. I think that's the thing that I liked about the super friends or any action hero is, dependability, honor.
Teamwork.
Yeah, teamwork. Teamwork
Yeah.
is the word. Yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
Because, when you're a young kid, you want to make sure, you want to feel safe. You want to feel secure. So, when you watch TV, you look and you magnetize things that support what you're experiencing. You know what I'm saying? Like subconsciously, that's really what you do. A lot of people don't really pay attention to that. That's why, for a time in society, we were like, we kind of rejected role models, but that's very important. But role models can't turn into idols. But you can, even in the superheroes, see the moral or the morale of what they're teaching in this school of fish we live in, and course a better future.
Okay, good. And how about you? What's your view of an action hero and what qualities make him great?
Well, an action hero could be edgy. It doesn't matter how much muscles or body he has. He could be thin, he could be tall, he could be skinny, he could be short. And for an action hero, you have to have a mindset. What is going to be, if these bad guys trying to get me, what the hell I'm going to do? I'm going to have to figure it out. And I said, what I can come up with, if these bad guys come approach me. I say, I'm just going to have to stand and think of a plan. And then if you making a good action movie, you got to be, what this person going to do to me on the left? What this person going to do to me on the right? And I said, okay, I'm going to figure it out. And the most important thing, if you want to create a good story, you got to make it awesome. You got to make it exciting for the people that's on the edge of the seat. Let's say, for example, Shen Chai in a 10 Rings. When I saw that, oh my God, it was original. It was creative. Real storytelling about the heritage. You got to have a great story. Anybody could be an action hero. It could be a doctor. It could be a lawyer. It could be a day-to-day person, or anybody that works a 9-to-5 job. Like if I'm a doctor, and I say, you know what, you got a splinter up in your neck, so let me just take off the splinter, just like put some iodine and some Band-Aid. I saved your life. I'm the action hero. Anybody can be an any-day action hero, but look up the people that's at your home, your neighbors, your school teacher. Anybody can be an action hero.
Good answer. I say my view of action hero and what qualities make him great. I think it's that sense of, do they have compassion for others? That's what really at the end of the day, because they can be this great superhero, but if they don't do good, that isn't my definition of a hero. It's someone who does good. It knows the moral compass of right and wrong, and they want others to live a good life, and they have compassion and care for others. That's what I see as a good action hero. All right. So we have some more questions. So as we're all actors, I would like to ask, would you do your own stunts? And at what point would you call in the stuntman?
I don't know. I guess it depends on how long I had to prepare for the stunt and the degree of difficulty or risk. I'm not gonna do something for some people would do anything for $1 million, but I'm gonna do something within the range of which I feel comfortable that I could perform, which they think I'm worth doing the stunt. If not, I wouldn't mind having a double.
Okay. How about you?
Well, for me, I gotta see how it is. If it's bigger, if it's large or smaller. And then if the producer or the director shows me this, I say, okay, well, let me bring in my stunt double, and we're gonna sit down and discuss this as a team. I'll tell you what I can do, and I'll tell you what I can't do, so I can understand where my double is, and so we can get something to relate to. So we're both working as a team, and you dialogue it how I'm gonna do it, and you dialogue it how you gonna do it.
That's cool. I really would like to do my own stunts. I love like I've taken Muay Thai, boxing, and stuff like that. So I love doing stunts. I've done, skateboarding. I've ride on a one-wheeler, electric one-wheeler. So I love the adventure and fun. And if there was a chase going on, I'd totally be like, I'm in the car. But if it's really dangerous, if it's something like hardcore parkour, I can't do it. I can't jump from like buildings to buildings. I don't know how people do that. I'd be like, oh my gosh, scared. I'd just fall flat on the ground. But
yeah, I'll
hey.
tell you. Just ask Julie Stewart. She's a stunt person.
Yeah, so I guess we all have our limits, huh? And that's why we have stunt people for us. And thank you very much, stunt people. Okay, so our next question. Okay. So as actors, we give back to a lot of social causes. There's a lot of things that are going on in the world. A lot of like greenhouse emission gases. There's a lot of chemicals that are very harmful to our environment and is causing global warming. What does sustainability mean to you, and how do you practice sustainability? Let me ask Edgar this first.
Okay, you got me on the spot right there. I'll tell you. You got me on the spot. Well, what we could do, there's so much pollution. Like, when people drive their cars, we can smell gas. Mm-hmm. We can smell smog. We can smell a lot of that. But what we can do, as a community or the neighborhood, we want to find a solution on how we can reduce these chemicals. So, especially cigarettes as well, because people smoking the next bite, and you're gonna smell that smoke and all that stuff. But we, as a together community, or as a neighborhood, or let's say people that lives around our block, we can get together and talk about these issues. What can we do to prevent it, and what can we do to go to the individuals who's behind it? Slow it down a bit, because especially our kids, teenagers, they can smell that stuff, or they can get sick for smelling that stuff. But you got to make a difference to talk to the bosses or the CEOs, the GMs who's responsible for this. But we cannot allow this in our community. Like Eric Brockovich, she's fully against all this stuff that's going on here. The chemicals, the smog, all that stuff. So it takes a community, it takes a village to get things done like that. And once they see it, they're gonna listen.
Good. That's really good answer. So question to you, and sustainability, and what does it mean to you, and how do you practice sustainability?
Sustainability as far as the environment and bad emissions into the atmospheres. Sustainability is each individual taking responsibility for learning the causality behaviors that produce our environment, and that's cognitively and that's physically. Because we live in a life, we're like a combustulating organic molecule, that has seen and unseen attributes to it, how it functions. So, and it's sensitive because how it influences us and how it influences others. So, defining that in the mind and then developing a vision for purpose of how you might operate it in it, subjecting yourself to the civil procedures and laws or moral codes that have been studied and established over the past 10,000 years might get you in tune to where, or us in tune, a greater love for this, a greater awareness of peripateticism and how human beings learn and attracting could equip us with the knowledge to sustain a planet that reuses everything that it consumes and responsibly manages the life and the wastes of the planet,
So for every reaction is an equal and opposite reaction. is in chemistry. So if you think about things that we use on a daily basis, whether it's our car that we drive, or the bus that we may take, or the other mode of transportation, a bike, or whatever it is, those things, like the safest would be the bike, because you don't have all those gases coming out, right? So it's a lot safer, it's more sustainable than say a car where it's one person or two people or five at least driving in that car. Or a bus where it's still driving, but there's more people in it. So therefore, less emissions essentially, because there's more people in the same space. So it's better.
Are you saying that a person should be should separate themselves from society a little bit and gather and see how they best can contribute to a sound that would create a sustainability that is pleasing for everyone?
I think what people need to do is I think they should take a step back, maybe like Edgar said, and bring together a community and just look at what we're really doing to the world. Because if you look at all the statistics and if you look at all the data, you can see that our world is it's getting warmer because of all these chemicals that are in the air, global warming, and you can see what it's doing to our world. There's ice caps that are melting, there's fires that are going on because it's so warm. And I think if we practice sustainability as a nation, then we would have a better environment. During COVID, when people weren't driving as much, the smog levels down. It was so good. Yes.
I think awareness is the most important thing. Awareness changes perception, changes ideas, concepts, changes people's feelings about things when you're aware of something, when you're pursuing, or when you're analyzing something, when you're aware of what you're going through, when you understand air masses and fronts and how the wind blows and how it might blow emissions, in the cleaning process. Man is confused about, environmental sustainability. We've had states, countries try to sue the government for a natural sedimentary process. If you really analyze, it's like we can't sue Russia for acid rain. They can't sue us for acid rain or pollution because we emit it, and the cycle of life distributes it, based on a magnetism that really can't be governed. So we just have to be aware.
Okay, great. I think sustainability is great, and I think it's good for us to practice it and acknowledge it and be aware of it. Now, my next question, I'm going to pivot away from this a little bit. I'm going to talk, since we're all actors, sorry, not both. All three of us are actors. I would like to ask you, so Edgar, you have some things that are on your plate going on, projects. Can you please tell us about it?
Okay, first I'll talk about the podcast that we have going on right now. It's called Edgar and Inspiring Friends. So right now, we started our third and final season of the podcast. Well, the show is we interview different people from all walks of life. We have special guests. We have news, topics, music, and entertainment. And sometimes we can go into different issues, and it's a really great show. So I've been doing podcasting for over 10 years. I really started a podcast called Friday Night Jam. We did that for over 7 years. And then I decided to end that, and then, I was getting ready to do some bigger things, and then COVID hit. Then when COVID hit, I did a different podcast, and then there's Edgar and Inspiring Friends. So we've been on the air right now for over 3 years, and also we do have a huge audience, it's the #1 podcast in Southern California, and especially overseas as well too. And we're also currently working on the Laura Roberts Show. I've served as the executive producer. Laura is also a co-host of the podcast, and you're also the co-host of the podcast.
Yes, I am.
And the Laura Roberts Show is about, we interview different people for all walks of life, no matter who they are, like everyday people. It could be bakes, cooks, anybody that has a platform in life. It could be a doctor, it could be a medical student, it could be person's everyday life. So, you know, and I also have some other commitments coming up. I do have a couple of short films in the works, and my biggest thing coming up, which is a new original cable television sitcom series, which is called Edgar Alexander's. Check it out, The Allens, and we're all gonna be playing a father.
That's great. And how about you, Richard?
Right now, I'm producing a film, Michelangelo, about a man who was been in a new type of prison. We put people in jail on satellite. We track them by satellite and listen to their conversations and imaginations, and listen to their thoughts. So it's a pretty interesting film. He's talking, and he's on a work release program where if he learns the ethics of society and function within them, then they'll set him free into where they'll free his mind, and he'll be able to dream and explore and live.
Oh, that's awesome. Myself, I have my own company. It's called Everything Has Atoms, centered around atoms. Designs are all created on Hanes approved apparel blanks and different products such as skateboards and watches. I have a couple of TV shows that I will be doing soon. I'm very excited. I'm doing a podcast as well. So that's us. That's Richard, Christine, and Edgar. I'm glad you guys can make it. I'm so happy to be hosting for you guys today. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day.
That concludes today's show. We hope that this and other episodes in this series will inspire you to create content with us to share with our community. If you're interested in participating in future episodes of PADNET Presents, we invite you to join us. Follow us on social media or sign up for our newsletter to receive announcements on upcoming meetings to plan and brainstorm new shows with us. Thanks for watching PADNET Presents, and remember to make your media.